All right. Next team I want to talk to you about is Tampa. All right. So
Buccaneers.
All right. So let's talk about my favorite Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Let's talk about Mike Allstott.
Or do you want to talk about the team John Gruden built and Tony Dungy went ahead Tony Dungy built and Tom Gruden took the
Yeah,
Super
that was Tony.
Sorry,
Dungy.
I just had to throw that out there.
That was all Tony Dungy.
I like Tony
Matt
Dungy.
Props. Me too. All right. So let's talk about work done. Oh, wait a minute.
Work done?
Are we? We lost track of time again, didn't we?
Mm-hmm, we did.
All right.
Work done. Florida State guy.
All right. So let's talk about the current quarterback, Josh Freeman.
Current quarterback Josh Freeman. Greatest player ever in the history of fantasy.
Josh frickin' Freeman.
Greatest player ever in the history of fantasy football.
All right, so funny fantasy football story between Dave and I. So back in 2010, go back, watch the videos from the past. You'll know my thoughts on this. We talked about this. 2010, first year I was actually fantasy football relevant. First year I did pretty good. Man, I was 13-1 in the regular season? No, 11-3. Patting my back too much.
Well,
exaggerated.
13-1, 11-3 in fantasy. Not the same thing.
Still pretty
same thing.
Pretty good. All right, so we go to the championship game. I'm projected to win huge.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't even think I was going to score over 100 points.
I was going to say, who was your quarterback? Because you ended up benching your quarterback.
I don't even remember. Honestly, I don't.
So,
that's how bad my quarterback was. I didn't have one. I literally didn't. And I don't even know. I won the semifinal round by 2 points.
And that's because...
And I had a total of 79 points.
Yeah.
And because the other guy's quarterback got hurt. And
he had two injuries.
Yeah, two injuries went down.
So,
and that's the only reason. I had no reason to be in the championship game.
But here we are. So here I am at 11-3, first place in the regular season, outscored everybody by 100 and some points. It wasn't even close.
It was ridiculous.
Dude, I was demolishing everybody that year. Fantastic. I go into the championship game.
So
I'm projected to win.
And I literally am sitting there, I think, right before Sunday. I'm like, I don't have a shot. Who am I going to... You know what? What up, Josh? Let's go. Let's go, Josh Freeman. Let's go. Pick him up off the wires. Throw him in there. Let's go, Josh.
Josh, I'm sure you're a nice guy, and I'm sure you're watching this video just like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers.
And all I can tell you, Josh, is thank you for the 5 touchdowns. I can't complain.
Frickin' Freeman. I end up losing in the championship match to this guy because he picks Josh Freeman off the trashy. Starts him, goes for 5 touchdowns.
And a little shout out
points.
to Tony Romo and Miles Austin too, because there's another guy that didn't do anything all year long. And then all of a sudden showed up with 25 points or 22 points for me in that championship game.
I actually, if I remember correct, I drafted Miles Austin.
And you let him go.
And I let him go because he wasn't doing anything.
He was an egg dropper. He was nothing. And then, last game, that was a great win. That was a good time.
2010, thought I was taking home the championship. This guy beats me because of Josh frickin' Freeman. But since we're talking about the Bucs, let's go ahead and fast forward to modern day. We know Tom Brady's the quarterback. Now, I've got some interesting takes on Tampa. I need you to let me know if you agree, disagree. You folks, let us know if you agree or disagree. Go down in the comment section. Let me know if I'm off my rocker. But
Mike Evans is legit.
Oh, there's your hot take right there, folks. Mike Evans is legit. Fantasy breaking news.
He's for real.
Breaking news.
Real.
You heard it here first.
He is for real. That dude is for real. He is a baller.
Anybody that can make Johnny Manziel look good going back to his college days.
Thank you.
For real.
Thank you.
All right, so yes, Mike Evans is for real. I think Chris Godwin's for real. He's been very productive.
Is he back?
So as you folks know, he actually came back, played a little bit in week 1, and hurt his hamstring. Chris, I am not judging you. Typically, if there's a soft tissue injury, I kind of question your stretching, your conditioning before the game, how well you're staying hydrated. Chris, I don't blame you for that. You're coming back off of that knee injury. Mad props for you even being out there. It was probably a situation of just kind of overcompensating for that knee. Chris, I know you're watching this channel too. Mad props for you, dude. It's amazing you're even out on that field. But let's look at this roster. Let's just look at the wide receivers.
I don't want to look at the roster. I don't even have to look at the roster. That roster is stacked.
Jinx.
Yeah.
All right. So before they went out and picked up Julio Jones, from what I understand, Tom Brady actually requested that they went out and got Russell Gage in free agency, which they obliged and did. So Russell Gage is there at Tom Brady's request. Again, from the way I understand it, if I'm wrong, folks, again, go down to the comment section, tell me. But you take Mike Evans, you take Chris Godwin, you take Russell Gage, who I've always been a fan of. I think he's a very good receiver, just was never utilized correctly. that's already the makings of a great offense. Now, we know Gronk's gone. That's where I'm going to go with my next point. They go out and they get Julio Jones. Now, here's my hot take. Everybody thinks Julio Jones is washed up. I actually drafted him anywhere and everywhere that I could.
He's in a perfect situation.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Perfect situation.
So, my hot take is, and this is where I need you to let me know if you think I'm right, wrong, if you've got a different take. We know Gronk is gone. I know they want to limit Julio's usage. I can see Julio lining up in the slot, running the middle of the field the way that Gronk used to. Put Evans on one
exactly
end.
What I was thinking, because here's the saying, with the size of Julio and his blocking technique, he's going to be able to pick up some blocks too.
Right.
So that's why he would be in the middle. So they're going to limit his ability in the early part of the season and save him for the longer run, longer haul, because that's what you do with those veteran players, especially right now. So,
and there's some players, folks. Now, I've always said, fantasy football, I preach this. Opportunity matters. I don't care how good you are if you're not getting the ball. So opportunity matters. But there are some players. He's one of those players now at this point in his career where maybe less is more. Instead of let's look at quantity, let's look at efficiency and quality of those catches. All right, so having said that, I can honestly see him going in the Gronk role. They timed him in the preseason. He was the fastest player on the Bucs roster in the preseason. I don't think he's lost a step. He's still Julio Jones. Now, I'm going to say, and this is not a knock on Julio either.
No, but here's the thing, though. When he was in Atlanta, who else did he have to take off the pressure?
Well, Calvin Ridley was there.
But Calvin really didn't really put up any numbers till...
Right. Prior to that, he had Roddy White and he had Tony Gonzalez. But how long has it been?
Tony Gonzalez was at the end of his career.
He was.
He was just kind of a shell
he
of
was.
what he was.
I am not trying to knock Julio when I say this, but Julio's health has declined the last couple of years. So when you look at a player whose health has been in decline, playing on teams where they're not really utilizing him or not going anywhere, again, if you're not feeling well, if you're not healthy, I can see where you can start losing some motivation.
Right.
Now he's with Tampa Bay. He appears to be healthy. His speed is back. He's on a team that has high expectations. He no longer has to play against the number one corner that the other team offers. That's going to Mike Evans.
Yep.
Playing possibly in the slot. That's where I think he'd be best utilized. Of course,
And then you throw Chris Godwin back there, not even to mention who they have in the backfield.
Right.
So really, your biggest question on this Tampa Bay team is how good is their offensive line?
Right.
And that's the bottom line.
And we know that they lost some guys in free agency, and then they've lost some guys to injuries.
Yeah. And that's the biggest question. If you can patchwork that, but here's the thing. When you have Tom Brady behind the helm...
That's where I was going to go.
When you have Tom Brady behind the helm, he's going to come up with schemes. He's going to work with his coaching staff, which is what good quarterbacks or great quarterbacks do. They work with all the coaches to come up with schemes to pattern a game. Brady's going to be consistent like he always is. He's not going to throw 50 times unless he absolutely has to.
Right.
And in this offense, he's not going to.
Right. He's not going to have to.
No.
Right. But, so, I've got two takes. The first take that I have is I still think Julio Jones is a very valuable fantasy asset to have on your team. I'm starting him in my flex spots in several leagues. Even in the leagues that I'm not, I am so happy to have him on my bench. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah. No, you were completely right. Because what do you do when you have a bad offensive line and a lot of weapons?
You get rid of the ball quick.
1, 2, 3, throw.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, throw.
And who's the best quarterback to ever do that in the history of the NFL? I hate to say it. Yep, we've already talked about this.
Fran Tarkington.
There we go. All right, fair enough. We didn't have to say TB12. All right, so that's my first take. My second take is I want to know real or not real. So I'm going to assume you're going to say real based upon that. Looking at Tom Brady and Julio Jones, the chemistry that they displayed in Week 1, Julio Jones caught that huge pass down the field, but he looked really good in the short routes. They used him twice in the running games on jet sweeps. I mean, I'm thinking Week 2, Chris Godwin's probably not going to play. Hamstring's still an issue. Julio Jones did not practice today, by the way, guys. Today we're filming this on Wednesday. I believe it's the 13th, 14th? 14th. Julio Jones didn't practice today. The report came out he was a non-participant in practice due to a knee thing. I think it's a Veterans Day off.
Yeah, let's call it what it is. It's just basically, hey, I'm just gonna take a day off.
I'm Julio Jones, and I'm
gonna take a day off.
Right.
Let's just be honest.
Not concerned.
And it's fine. Like, he's gonna have a good year.
So I'm looking at this next week's matchup, Week 2. And like I said, I am putting Julio in my starting roster everywhere I can for a couple different reasons.
And who are they playing?
They're playing the Saints. So, reason number one that I like this
Let's hear this explanation.
All right, so
I'm big on the Saints defense.
I am too. Don't get me wrong. But Atlanta just put up points on the Saints defense.
First week one.
Right,
week
I understand.
one.
But listen, here's my point. Marshawn Lattimore is going to be on Mike Evans, and Marshawn Lattimore does move all over the field. So wherever Mike Evans goes, Marshawn Lattimore is going to go.
He's going to match up. So Julio Jones is going to have a fantastic day.
That's my
So, because here's what's going to happen. They're going to buck up on Mike Evans. And I'll tell you right now, start Mike Evans because he's still going to have 5 catches for 100 yards.
Well, okay, so folks, I agree because when Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans go head to head, it tends to bring out the best in both guys.
Yes. It's
If
fun
you
to watch.
it is
It's
fun to watch. Any football's fun to
Yeah.
watch.
No,
except
but
for Notre Dame.
if you were looking for a matchup, if you want to watch those two, they are fun to watch and it'll be great. But Mike Evans he might not have a touchdown tomorrow, but he will have an impact in the game.
Right.
With receptions.
So with Marshawn Lattimore covering Mike Evans, a good defensive line that's going to get after Tom Brady, and Chris Godwin out of the lineup. To me, folks,
slants and hitches.
Yep,
All
perfect recipe for a Julio Jones explosion. And I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is, Dave, because I haven't just started him. I actually went out to Daily and put money. I put money on Julio Jones, and all of my daily rosters, he's in. And I might even look at some of the bets on him just as a prop bet.
Yep. Now the only thing that could flip that is if they do the quick screen passes to a Leonard Fournette.
Could be.
Could be, but I don't see that happening. I don't see Julio getting wide receiver screens. I think they're going to try to keep him from getting hit.
But those quick slants out of the slot, those could
that he can make his one move and go, or one move and go down, avoid the hit. Like that's what veteran receivers do. Best one I've ever seen do it is Larry Fitzgerald.
Right, exactly. Another big bodied wide receiver.
Yeah, another big bodied wide receiver.
And not just big body, folks. I want to say
intelligent.
That's what I was going to say.
Receiver.
Julio Jones is a savvy, smart, experienced veteran as well. So not only does he have the size, the speed, he's got the knowledge, and as my buddy Joe always says, he speaks well.
Yes.
There's my shout out to my buddy Joe.
Yes.
Who's behind the camera right now, shaking his head, nodding, and doing a fist bump. All right, so
it's true though.
It is very true.
It's true.
It's very true. Look at Devin Hester. That guy didn't speak well.
Man, we're off the rails. So Joe and I have 2 rules.
Edit that.
So Joe and I play fantasy football together. Joe and I have 2 rules. Number 1, they either have to speak well or they have to run fast. Hester doesn't speak well, but the dude can run fast. So that's our
helps if they can do both.
Yeah, if they can do both.
It makes them highly
first round in my fantasy drafts if they can do both.
And no disrespect to Devin, I love you, man.
Dude,
you're not
Devin,
a very good public speaker.
You deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes,
best
you do.
returner in NFL history.
Yes, you do.
So, all right. So that's my take on Tampa. Incredibly dynamic offense, fantastic defense.
And if you really want to go with it, folks, I have money on them to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Tampa is just absolutely deadly on both sides of the ball.
That defense is tough as nails, and Brady has his head in the game. There's no stopping him.
I will say, folks, as a Bears fan, looking at the Bears roster, knowing we needed wide receiver help, when Tampa Bay went out and got Julio, I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't we go after him? But why would he want to come play for us?
There's no need to bring him here to the Bears. Like, I thought the same thing, but I'm looking at next year.
Wouldn't be fair to Julio.
It would not be fair to Julio.
It would not be fair. He's looking for a ring. He had a shot, and
what quarterback beat him in the Super Bowl? The one he's playing for now.
The one he's playing for.
We won't say his name, so we'll just say 12. We're not going to say his name. All right, so that just proved my point too, though. The motivation is there. Julio wants a ring. This is probably his best
motivation is key when you're a professional athlete. When your contract's on the line, you seem to play really well that year.
And when you want that ring, that's eluded you for your entire illustrious
and then
Hall of Fame
once
career.
you got your bag, then it is I want the ring. I want the bling.